For anyone still out there, this is the Dystopic Radio Network.
I can't really remember when I last had any hope.
Somewhere
I came into this game for the action, the excitement.
on the abandoned highways of tomorrow.
No one would have believed in the early years of the 21st century.
Keep your radio on. Listen for our broadcasts.
You're listening to the Dystopic Boys.
Destroyed the world.
The entire Los Angeles area. Already hospital facilities have begun to crack under the strain, and civil defense authorities state that the situation is much the same across the entire country. Martial law is now nationwide. Major cities in all parts of the country, New York, Los Angeles, report plague victims falling dead in the streets, in their homes, at their work. The first symptom appears to be severe choking, followed by immediate unconsciousness. Death occurs within minutes. Whether a state of war between China and Russia still exists is not important any longer. Our fellow countrymen are dying. The very foundations of civilization are beginning to crumble under the dread assault of that horror long feared, germ warfare.
Conrad Channel, this is a Class 1 emergency. All civilian traffic is barred from streets and highways. Stay in your homes. Stay in your homes. Those found without specific military orders are subject to summary execution. Stay in your homes. Repeat, Conrad Channel, this is a Class 1 emergency. All civilian traffic is barred from streets and highways.
Do you wake from your finest fantasy only to return to your daily nightmare?
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Dystopic Radio Network. We are the Dystopic Boys. My name is Wendell, and I'm here as always with my fellow survivor, Niles. How's it going, Niles?
Yeah, we're back, baby. Oh, yeah, feels good.
How's it going, man?
Good now that we're back.
I know, it's been a while.
It feels like a long time. I've been doing a lot of, I've been doing a lot of work here and there. What was it? The last time I was reporting, I was saying that I was going to go underground.
Yeah, how's that underground doing?
It was awesome and horrible at the same time. Because here we are, 5 stories underground, and I'm like, we're hauling stuff down tunnels, and it was pretty bad. But it was fun. It was cool. It was sci-fi, so it was fun.
Sweet. And when do we get to see this?
Who knows?
If ever.
It's probably going to be one of those made, go straight to DVD, maybe do the film
Made
circuit.
for TV movies?
No.
Okay.
No.
Good. That's good.
Not Encrypt.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a second.
Oh, so great. So great. Well, I guess we should start off with, what are we drinking?
That sounds like a good beer.
And it's being poured all over the floor. Don't waste the beer.
All right. Today, I am drinking an Elysian Valhalla. That would be me hitting the mic stand with the bottle. The Elysian Valhalla Red IPA. I'm a fan of the IPAs. This is one of their Manic IPA series.
I got that especially for you,
It's
Wendell.
got a nice sweet hoppiness to it, a little bit of sweetness like most reds have, but the nice hoppiness of an IPA. What are you drinking?
I'm drinking an Elysian, the Immortal IPA. We're on an Elysian.
That's a good one.
The deal is, I didn't find
what happened?
One of the 12 beers of the apocalypse, which I had last time with the cool artwork and whatever else. I couldn't find it. I was at Central Market. They didn't have it. I don't know what's going on.
Well, so I found a place that we could order it, but at PCC here around Seattle, the wine beer guy told me that he can order them, but he can only order a case at a time, and it's $8 a bottle, and the entire case would be the same beer. And it would only be whatever they have in his distributors in stock. So it would be like $96 for a case of one beer.
And then times that by 12.
Well, 8 times 12.
If we can get hold of all 12.
Right. Yeah.
I need to go find all 12
We are not
of these
spending
beers.
$1,000 on apocalyptic beers, as awesome as that would be.
I want to try all of them.
I know. That would be pretty awesome. But we'll try to see if we can find somewhere to get either the November or December ones. Maybe we can give Elysian a call and ask them if they've got any to purchase directly.
I'm going to find it.
Maybe we get some growlers.
Growlers. I'm going to find it. Anyway. Yes, that's what we're drinking. We're drinking Elysian. Cheers to you.
Yep. Today's the Elysian drink.
Men's Room, tomorrow's coming out with their Men's Room Black. I believe, too.
Oh, really? Is it a stout?
Yeah. It's a black.
For anybody who's not from this area, the Men's Room is another Survivor radio talk show in the afternoons for the drive home, and
they're all men and they're all rock.
Elysian has a beer called the Elysian's Men's Room Ale that is kind of from inspired by those guys. So yeah, big fans.
True survivors.
Indeed.
And with that,
we interrupt this program to bring
this broadcast to bring to this important
Science fiction garbage.
it's not garbage. It's the last frequency. And in this segment, I just want to talk about whatever I want to talk about. And this time, I want to talk about The Walking Dead.
Oh, no.
Called Dead Live. Oh, wait, sorry. That's not
Dead Live?
Chris Hedwick. Talking Dead. Have you not seen Talking Dead?
Oh, Talking Dead. Yeah.
Dead Live.
Yeah, I forgot that part. But yeah. Yeah, Walking Dead.
The Walking
Good
Dead.
stuff.
And if for any of you who don't know, it's on AMC Sundays 9.
And it's brutal.
It's actually based on a graphic novel.
By
yes,
Chris Kirkman. No.
Robert Kirkman.
Robert Kirkman. Hey, I had the Kirk right. I just couldn't remember the rest of it. Yeah.
No, and the show is great. It's a great example of taking elements of this comic book and translating it so well, and then also going off and doing its own thing. To keep people
for people who have not seen or read it, give us the basic premise of what's The Walking Dead about.
So it's a zombie survival story. So in the midst of a zombie apocalypse, we are following basically Rick Grimes is basically the character we are following, and his family, and we are just kind of along for this horrible ride of surviving a zombie apocalypse. So I mean, it focuses on the story of these characters. The zombies are there. The zombies are cool to kill, but it's not about the apocalypse itself. It's about how do you survive.
It's not about how that plague and the apocalypse happened. It's about realistically, in a world like this, what do you do? How do you survive?
So here's the problem. How do we live through it? And it's dark.
It approaches a lot of stuff regarding things like what does humanity become when faced with, you or the other guy. Do you kill them outright? Do you what lengths are you as a human being willing to go to survive and not be the last man standing?
I mean just the choices you have to make as a person, and whether or not you want to hold on to what you believe in, or you're just going to give in to just the hellish nature of how to survive.
So okay, is this
so the deal is, I want to bring this up because here we are in season 3 of The Walking Dead, and we are now on episode 6, I believe, is airing Sunday. But here we are. I mean, it's so popular, probably because it's so good. But I mean, the idea is, how dystopian is, this is kind of the deal with zombie movies in general, right?
Is a zombie movie a dystopia?
You have this infection story, which is a great premise for a dystopian future. But I mean, how can you tie in themes of dystopian themes within The Walking Dead?
Well, and is it a dystopia, or is it just a post-apocalyptic?
Exactly, yeah.
Like is a zombie apocalypse just that, or does it represent a dystopia? So going to the official source of all human knowledge on Wikipedia,
Dave Chicks.
According to Wikipedia, a dystopia is a community or society, usually fictional, that is in some important way undesirable or frightening. Yeah, I would consider the zombie apocalypse to be undesirable or frightening.
Defined. Let's move on.
Yeah. All right. So done. Period. End of story. Zombies are dystopic.
No, but I think the biggest thing is we are focusing on these characters and the things they have to go through in this world that is not desirable. And I think that is a big part of why I like dystopian films, is this tackling the question of, okay, we have this situation, how are we going to survive in it?
Well, it forces us as people to actually examine who we are and what lengths we're willing to go to. And that's something that in our everyday lives of the internet and what's the newest, biggest, baddest phone that just came out, and my car just broke down. Different things like that. It's not something that you actually have to examine of what lengths would you go to survive.
Well, definitely car breaking down would be a problem, but
especially in the zombie apocalypse.
Especially if you just filled it up with gas that you hunted for weeks.
Well, sure, granted. So along those same lines, I started watching a TV show recently called Revolution. It's a show by the producer. I always get those two mixed. The producer of Lost, J.J. Abrams. It's on NBC.
Hey.
And this is a show that has an interesting premise of, for some reason, and just like Lost, you gradually find out kind of more and more about the story and what goes on as the season progresses. But in Revolution, all electricity ceased to work. Now, I realize that, granted, you can have an EMP that makes everything stop working, things like that. But for all electricity, including cars with, electronic ignitions, all that kind of stuff just stops working. It will not work. And all that happens all across the world. So for that to happen, there obviously has to be some reason for it, right? So as you progress through the story, you start to learn more and more about that this is not just something that happened. This is something that was caused. And the more that you learn about that, the more that you start to realize that there's people behind it, and maybe there's a way to get the lights back on, and different things like that. It's really interesting. And again, coming back to some of those same themes of in The Walking Dead, of looking at, as humanity, what do we do if society breaks down? Do we band together? Is it every man for himself? What powers come into... What people come into power if that happens? Oh.
And the game. The Walking Dead game.
Oh. Let's just say don't ever play more than one episode of The Walking Dead, the game, at one time, because you will come out in a very, very dark place because of the choices you have to make.
So it's on, well, I guess it's on PS3 and Xbox 360 and stuff like
PC
that. And PC,
Steam.
whatever.
Yeah, it's pretty much on everything except for, I think, like Vita.
It takes a couple of you see a couple of returning characters, but it creates a whole new story, and you are in charge of one man, and you have to make the choices. And all of a sudden, you're like, I am making these choices, and then things happen, and you're like, oh God, what have I done?
And these choices, there is no good choice. I mean, just like
there's a choice,
just like in The Walking Dead, you choose which of your party survives and which one dies. And then you, as a character, have to deal with the repercussions of that in your group. You're going to have somebody upset with you. Somebody's not going to be happy with you for the decisions that you've made.
Our dystopian chihuahua just walked in the room.
Oh, okay. Hi, Chihuahua.
I don't know. I might feel it.
So we highly recommend that game, though. It's
and the show.
The game, the show, and Revolution.
Basically, anything Walking Dead is awesome.
Agreed?
Agreed. Let's go to talking about one of our
first movies.
Yeah, let's go. Let's do this.
The Omega Man. Robert Neville, a doctor, due to an experimental vaccine, is the only survivor of an apocalyptic war raged with biological weapons. The plague caused by the war has killed everyone else, except for a few hundred deformed, nocturnal people calling themselves the Family. The plague has caused them to become sensitive to light, as well as homicidally psychotic. They believe science and technology to be the cause of the war and their punishment, and Neville, as the last symbol of science, the old world, and a user of the wheel, must die. Neville, using electricity, machinery, and science, attempts to hold them at bay.
Yes. The Omega Man, starring Charlton Heston. Are you plugged in? Okay, cool. Oh, there you go. I hear it. I thought we were still in the other segment.
No, we're good.
The Omega Man, starring Charlton Heston. Let's see. For those of you who haven't seen it, it's directed by Boris Sagal.
Wait, is he related to Steven?
No, it's spelled differently.
Okay. Thank goodness.
Who's Boris has done a lot of TV and made-for-TV films and stuff like that. So this is actually one of his few early ventures into an actual film, I guess, or movie, whatever you want to call it.
This is probably on that line of film versus movie.
He's done TV and he's done TV movies and stuff like that. But I mean, I guess this counts more of as like a theatrical release type of scenario. But anyway, the Omega Man is based on the 1954 novel I Am Legend, which
I meant to read it. Haven't gotten to it.
Almost
yet.
there.
Getting the book that I was reading for Lost Pages took up a lot more time than I thought it was going to. So we'll get to that in a little bit.
But that's okay. It was written by Richard Matheson, and then the screenplay was actually written by the Corrington brothers, or sorry, probably not brothers, a John and a Joyce. So I don't know if Joyce is a girl, probably. Maybe.
I would hope so.
But it's actually the second adaptation of I Am Legend. The first was Last Man on Earth, 1964.
That was with Vincent Price.
With Vincent Price, you are correct. And then the third adaptation, I Am Legend, starring
Will Smith.
That's
Man,
which we saw in theaters.
Now there is
and he screamed like a girl.
Kind of. That's a pedigree right there. I mean, 3 different adaptations starring Will Smith, Charlton Heston, and Vincent Price. You want to talk about 3 completely different, kind of not character actors, but 3 different actors playing basically the same role.
Which is one of the cool things about this story is here's this trilogy of adaptations that take on different. I hope we actually really get to see The Last Man on Earth sometime closer in the near future.
So what's the premise of this movie?
Here we are, Neville, scientist. He's trying to find a cure for these. In this one, this group called the Family. These nocturnal people who are sensitive to light and can't go out in the daytime, and basically haunt him by night because they know where he lives. And they wear sunglasses at night, and he's basically trying to find the cure. And along the lines, he ends up meeting a group of other survivors.
Well, so why is he the last man there? Like what? So there's the group
technically
of
in the film,
Nocturnals.
well, he is actually not the
Well,
last man.
okay, yes,
Come
he's not the
find
last
out.
man. But
nobody
why
ever
is everybody else dead? I mean, so you've got the group of the Family, the Nocturnals. You've got a couple other live people.
In this, it was a biological warfare that caused a plague spread by mosquitoes, turning the population into vampire-like creatures. And then, so he's going through the movie, he finds this group of survivors. He ends up finding a kid, and he tries to, trying to find a cure for this kid. I don't want to give away too many spoilers.
Well, and just for people that haven't watched the movie, this starts out with him driving a Mustang. Was it
a Mustang?
I think it was.
I hope it's a Mustang because in I Am Legend with Will Smith, he's driving a newer Mustang.
Yeah. So I think it started out with him driving a Mustang that there's nobody out in the streets. It's a very barren world. There's nobody left alive in the city, as we are left to believe at the beginning of the movie. And as the movie progresses, we find out that maybe that's not the case. But there are these creatures that are hunting him and that type of thing.
I wish there was more cars on the street though. The city didn't look like.
Although
it had been recently attacked.
Although, as you pointed out, there was that the one
Oh,
little
yeah,
movie glitch.
If you go along and watch the movie, there's like an occasional car that turns down the highway. Some PA wasn't doing their lockup properly, and then there's like I guess there's we didn't look for the pedestrian. There was like a pedestrian that crosses the street at some point. Yeah, we missed that. But anyway, so here we have Charlton Heston against these vampire-like people who are all blonde hair or white hair, like white face, wearing sunglasses, and then produced. Oh, I wanted to mention just a quick little fun fact. Boris Sagal, who ended up dying in 1981, about 10 years after he made this movie, he died in a helicopter accident in Oregon. So obviously he's not living with us anymore. But while doing his television stuff, I guess he randomly just accidentally just walked in front of the helicopter blades
Well,
while he was
okay.
getting out of his helicopter.
So this gets even creepier, though, because I was just reading your show notes, and I just realized where he died. He just returned from filming aerial shots, his helicopter landing in the parking lot of the Timberline Lodge on Mount Hood, which I didn't realize that this was actually shot on Mount Hood. The exterior's location from The Shining.
Oh, yeah, The Shining. That's right. Yeah.
Preoccupied with his work, he
I forgot.
inadvertently
Thank you
turned the
for
wrong
bringing
way
that up.
upon getting out of the helicopter, walking directly into the rear rotor blade. He died of severe head and shoulder injuries after emergency surgery 60 miles away in Portland.
Yeah, thank you for reminding me of that.
That's not good. Well, for multiple reasons. For starters, in my opinion, The Shining is an extremely creepy movie.
And
not a fan.
One of his other, an actor that was in one of his films ended up directing a film about the same time, and he died also of a helicopter accident while filming The Twilight Zone, the movie.
So, in other words, don't be in helicopters when you're filming creepy movies.
Or don't accidentally walk in front of the rear rotary blades of a helicopter.
Rotor, not rotary.
Rotary.
No, rotor.
Rotor.
There you go. Okay, good. Glad
Well,
we
it's
got
the same
that
thing
out.
with,
No,
never mind, forget
no,
it.
it's not the same thing.
That's my other word that I make. We can make up words on this show. But not when it comes to flight.
Exactly.
Because this man will kill you. So anyway, that's Boris's story. And basically, everybody else in there, I didn't really want to give too much.
That's because there's really not any other
Charlton.
interesting people.
We got Charlton
like
Heston.
Charlton Heston is the main character. Yes, there's the Roxy character, basically, kind of like from Austin Powers, the Afro chick from Austin Powers. It's basically like
Foxy Cleopatra.
Yeah, Foxy
And I'm
Cleopatra.
a whole lot of woman.
Yes, exactly. There's pretty much that character, just a little less flamboyant as the.
Not really as attractive. Yeah.
Sure, it's Austin Powers. What do you expect?
Granted, it's Beyonce Knowles too. Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway.
No. You bring this up, but the funny thing is, at the time, here we are in the 70s, and here we have this. This white guy falling in love with this black girl, which granted it's the 70s,
another one of the survivors.
But I mean, in film, I mean, it was a real cool political stance they took in actually doing this film. So I give them props for that. Make sure. So yeah. Thoughts? Wendell.
Well, okay, so like you said, we had seen I Am Legend in an IMAX theater here several years ago, which is the third adaptation of this movie.
So
and as you said, I screamed like a little girl because I don't like scary
That's
movies.
probably because you were next to a girl. That didn't help. Or
let's face it, I would have screamed like something.
She actually might have saved you.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, no, in I Am Legend with Will Smith, they made out these night creatures as much more of like a beast, right? Something that there's no reasoning with, there's no talking to,
very humanoid. It's almost like 28 days later.
Humanoid, but without the humanity.
Take infected and they can run really fast and they're scary.
But without the humanity tying them to reality, right? So in Omega Man, those creatures, instead of being this kind of beast-like thing, are basically humans. They're humans that have been mutated by this plague to where they can't go out during the daylight. They have to wear sunglasses.
Like humans.
Yeah, they communicate. They talk. They
have memories. Like
it almost reminded me a lot of like a cult scenario. You know, like with a cult leader that everybody else follows, a religious order, and for me,
and they were even burning books.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Well,
they're the anti-technology, right?
Yeah.
They're down with technology. So for me, it actually did not have the same, whatever the right word is, creep factor. It didn't have the same effect as I Am Legend, because I Am Legend brought it from the perspective of what if you were really alone in a world, and at night these creatures that you could not talk to, could not anything, were coming after you. In Omega Man, it was much more of a, well, they're not human any longer, but they still are. They still retain that sense of humanity, that they can talk, they can walk, they're humanoid in that sense.
Well, as a suspense film, there's basically zero like suspense. Like these people are like when Heston's in his house, when Neville's in his house, these guys are like,
I'm gonna get you, Neville. I'm gonna throw rocks at your house.
Yeah, and like, yeah,
and Neville's like, get away, and he closes
they're
the door
throwing
or
rocks
whatever.
at his house and stuff. Like there's not that sense of like there's something 7 feet outside of my window, but I have no idea what it is, and I have no idea what it could do to me.
Or I know what it is, and it is scary.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Like it doesn't have that sense of terror, right? Stephen King coined that there are like 4 different kinds of fear. There's terror, there's horror, there's suspense. I forget what the 4th one was. And to me,
That's good.
that sense of terror of dread. That was the last one. Like a sense of dread, like something going to happen, and I don't know what it is, and I cannot control it. I think the fear that I got out of I Am Legend was a little bit of that terror and a little bit of that dread, whereas this,
there's suspense in there.
Yeah, it was suspense mixed in. This really didn't have much of that at all. And I feel that in my opinion, I feel that for what it was trying to do, I think it suffered because of that.
The reason I like this story is the element of, what if you are, one of the last few people on Earth. You can walk into a store and grab everything you want.
Which was awesome, by the way. The fact that he had like all the booze he wanted, any car he wanted.
I mean,
like, there's no sense of like I need to buy that. It's just like I'm gonna walk into a store and take something without any repercussions.
I like the subtlety of this kind of story where we explore like what he's going through. Like, oh yeah, he can walk, or like I love the I Am Legend thing where he goes into the video store and he's got the mannequin set up and he has conversations with him.
Speaking of mannequins, if I'm ever the last man on Earth, the first thing I am doing is taking all of the mannequins and burning them, because mannequins, when you are the last man on Earth, is the single creepiest thing you can possibly imagine.
Could you imagine turning around the corner when you're the last man on Earth?
No,
and be like,
that's my point. Like, I'm done. I'm spent. I'm out.
Fred, I told you not to come back here.
Yeah, not gonna happen.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, what'd you think of the movie overall? I mean, did you like it? What
did. But again,
too slow for you?
I liked it, but I think I was comparing it too much to I Am Legend, and I was thinking that I went into it expecting that scary factor, and I didn't get it. But how does it it definitely ties into that kind of post-apocalyptic with some dystopia thrown in of. This was something that was the world was brought to where it was because of a biological weapon ran amok, right? So I think that actually ties more into the dystopia than the fact that he's the last man on Earth. The last man on Earth trope can be caused by any number of things, but the fact that it was caused by a government basically definitely ties it more into the dystopian theme and kind of, again, going back to that definition of an undesirable.
Well, yeah. Here's the
undesirable event.
Yeah. Here's the situation that he's in, and it's I mean, who would want to? Yeah, you're the last man on Earth, but would you want to live with sunglass wearing, white fro people?
No. That's. Although I would rather live with white-haired sunglasses wearing fros than creepy skeleton-like beasts that run on all fours that I can't see or anything until they're eating my face.
Freaky.
I know, exactly.
I wanted to mention.
Well, you haven't said what you thought of the movie.
Oh yeah, I guess I could do that.
Yeah, you could do that.
No, you know what? I like all these films. I like The Last Man on Earth. I like the Omega Man. I like I Am Legend because I mean, the funny thing is they do different things. Every film does different things. I mean, this one was fun. It was cornball. I mean, I'm gonna go silent for a second. You listen to the soundtrack. So imagine this. I mean, while he's fighting, and we're always wandering around, we have this real feel-good music. I don't feel like I'm the last man on Earth. I feel like I'm having a party right now.
It's definitely, it's kind of a, it's a real dichotomy of feelings, right? The music in this case, as we talked about in previous episodes, the music usually adds to the setting. In this, it's almost like it takes what could have. If they would have added scary music to a lot of this movie, it would have been a lot scarier than came out as. This music,
it's got a real light-hearted fashion. Feeling
it really does.
And I guess it's kind of the fun of it is, okay, we have this we had this Charlton Heston film, and it's kind of lighthearted. I mean, at the end, even at the end, how he ends up. Well, I'm not gonna spoil it.
Yeah, let's not spoil a movie that came out in 1977.
Didn't we bring up that rule? If it's older than 20
like,
years, then
if we didn't, it should be.
Yeah. He dies.
Let's see. Okay, so you're talking about the music. So let's talk about the music for a second. The soundtrack was written by a composer named Ron Grainer, and he's not real well known for a lot of things except for one thing. One very, very notable thing. He was the author or composer of the original BBC series.
Wait for it.
I don't remember when it first started. 1960 something. Doctor Who.
Oh my God.
Yes, the very iconic. Now it's
which Doctor?
The original Doctor Who from I believe it was
BBC.
1963 something. Now the theme from Doctor Who has been adapted and rewritten and things like that over the years, but the same kind of theme, the same thematic elements carry over in the new series from back when he first wrote this. So that was a revelation.
These different series have had a pretty similar theme to them.
Yes, the same melody, to my knowledge, has been throughout the whole entire series, all 11 or 12 Doctors now.
So he originally wrote the
base melody that is still in use today, 40, 50 years later, which I found fascinating. So anyway, so he was actually
good for him.
Exactly good for him. He's known for something other than that. Let's see, what else is in it? Steptoe and Son, like The Prisoner, Shelley.
I feel like a lot of these are BBC.
To Sir with Love, Mutiny on the. Wait, that's Mutiny. No, that's Mutiny, not Mutiny.
Did you say To Sir with Love?
To Sir with Love, and then takes the cake. Only When I Larf. Like. That has to be a British term, because I have never in my life heard of. I've heard of LARPing, and that's weird enough.
Wait. How's that?
LARF. I've heard of LARPing, but not LARF. Yeah, LARF. Only When I Larf. So obviously, this composer is not, at least in America. Again, I don't know if he's well known for things overseas, but.
Wait. LARF is simply a playful way of spelling laugh.
Oh, so like Only When I Laugh. That's the dumbest way of spelling laugh I have ever seen.
It's weird.
That's ridiculous.
It's good to say that you larfed instead of laughed, because laughed is plain and ordinary.
To me, that makes it sound like laughing is.
Oh, guess who said that? That is Urban Dictionary for larf.
Of course it is. To me, that makes it sound like it's half laugh, half puke. Like, yeah. Anyway,
I'm really gonna try to use that.
I know we should.
And it's gross.
So so the music, I definitely enjoyed the music from this movie, but it
definitely took me out of it. Like,
yes, completely.
What is this?
Music we have. He starts fighting, and you're expecting it to be like danger and fight music and stuff, and then all of a sudden it's like this carnival music, and it's like, what is going on? So anyway, I just thought it was really cool that. Completely out of the blue, literally about 30 minutes ago, we found out that the composer of this music also did the Doctor Who theme song. So
but you were entertained.
Yes, absolutely.
And then the ending.
It was definitely an entertaining movie.
The ending was okay with the Cure, making its way into.
Oh right, yeah. No, that was fine.
Hands at least.
That was fine. I would not call the ending any work of cinema
look at the film.
art but it was fine. It was good. We won't spoil, I guess.
Charlton Heston was a little funny. His performance was a little corny, but again,
But again, you're the last man on Earth. What are you gonna be doing? You're going to be acting like a crazy person, right? I mean, you're not.
He is talking to himself.
He's talking to himself. He's talking to he's talking to a bust of some general that he's playing chess against, that he has to move the general's pieces because there's nobody actually there. Like, he's crazy. He's kind of nuts, which is fine. The interesting thing I was just reading is
I would be too.
Heston is actually in another dystopian movie.
Oh, that's the point. That's the point I want to bring up earlier. Yes, go ahead.
That we will probably be doing at some point, I'm assuming.
I hope so.
Which is, I know I have not seen this either. I've heard the saying a lot, but Soylent Green. What is it? People are something or no? Food is people. People is something.
Soylent Green is people.
Yeah, Soylent Green is people.
It's people.
So yeah, so Charlton Heston played the main character, I am assuming, in Soylent Green. So kind of a little bit of a tie to another dystopian movie.
I believe the producer of this, Omega Man, is actually Walter Seltzer, is also the producer of Soylent Green, and that is, well, you could say that's how he ended up in both films. But which I'm sure Soylent Green is very similar in terms of. Well, I mean, in terms of
not as far as story goes, though. I mean,
Charlton Heston in this.
Maybe as far as his character goes, but as far as the story itself goes, I mean, Soylent Green is designed to be that's truly a dystopian future where the government and all kinds of stuff. We won't get into that right now. But anyway, all right.
Are we good?
Yeah. I think that should wrap up the Omega Man.
Any more points? Okay.
Paper. Have you ever seen paper?
All right, and that brings us to the Lost Pages segment. So this time around, I was intending to get read the Omega Man, but because of the book that I actually did for Lost Pages, I did not actually get that one read. What I did read was Lucifer's Hammer, which is a book written by Larry Niven and Jerry Pournelle, first published in 1977.
Glad you had it up this time.
Yeah, I actually had it up this time. Shut up. This is a book that is I don't know, it's like 800 or 900 pages, so this is not a quick read. This is not a Niles sit down for a couple of afternoons read type of a book. This book.
It would take me like several weeks to get through a book.
This book probably took me a week and a half, 2 weeks.
And that's me a month or two.
Yeah, this would have taken you a month or two. So the interesting thing about this book is, well, just to start with the story, it's Lucifer's Hammer is a comet that gets named, and this comet is known that it's going to make a close pass to the Earth, but it's never imagined that it might possibly hit the Earth. Well, as the novel continues, we find out that the odds of it hitting the Earth go up, and people are still in denial about it, and just different things like that. And the first half of the book is really a lead up to, people not believing that this could happen, and what naysayers and different things like that, setting up the characters for the second half of the book. The second half of the book proceeds after Lucifer's Hammer actually does hit the Earth, and then we start to see how humanity deals with an event that devastates. We don't see a whole lot of the planet except for mostly southwestern United States, so it kind of covers the California, the San Joaquin Valley, kind of down south, I believe that's southeastern California, and kind of that area. And it's set around a couple of groups of people. One of them is a senator and kind of his ranch area, and the people that are kind of protected in this valley area by him and his group. And it shows the way that humanity changes when they're faced with it's either our group or it's nobody. Because if we let everybody in, then there's not enough food for anybody. So in order for our group of 50 to survive, we have to turn people away. It also ties into, there's some groups of people in the second half of the book where they take up with crazy preachers and religion and thinking that they're, this isn't meant to be by God, and you get into cannibalism. And
sounds like a Walking Dead scenario.
Yeah, it really is.
I mean, because that's the issue.
It's kind of a Walking Dead scenario without the Walking Dead. It's a Walking Dead scenario where the walkers are other humans that you're having to make these decisions against.
Would you say this book portrays it really realistically in terms of
actually yes, as you're reading this, you can imagine the types of people that may be sane before all of this happens, and then something happens and they snap, and suddenly they turn into these crazed beings that still have the appearance of humanity, but any shred of humanity that they used to have is gone. It was a really good book. I highly recommend it. It's won quite a few awards, the Hugo Award for Best Novel in 1978. There's actually, I did not realize this, I'm just reading this right now.
The best novel? Is that the Hugo?
Hugo Award for Best Novel, yeah. There was a comic book adaptation published in 1993 that I'm totally going to have to read.
Really?
Because that sounds really interesting. Oh. But again, this is not a light book. This is not a quick... This is not a Dan Brown novel, right?
Innovation Comics.
Yeah, this is not just a Dan Brown novel that you're going to read quickly in a couple of hours or something like that. This gets into a lot of heavy topics and a lot of deeper stuff that can be pretty disturbing at times. So, highly recommend, but you're warned.
You are warned of Lucifer's
Yeah, so
hammer.
I am still planning on reading the Omega Man, and now I'm going to actually in the next couple of weeks try to get through the comic for this as well.
And maybe I Am Legend.
That wasn't a book.
I Am Legend. That was the book.
Well,
yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Was that the book? Oh, that was the original book.
Yeah, that was the book.
Oh, I thought the Omega Man was the original book. All right, all right.
I Am Legend is the original book.
Yes, I will try to get through I Am Legend
as
well as the graphic novel.
We've got time.
Yeah. All right. So.
Yeah.
I guess it's time. Unfortunately.
Encrypt. By the year 2068, the Earth's ozone is gone. Violent and uncontrollable storms are raising its surface as a result. A small group of military survivors are the defenders of the last of humankind, and when Captain John Garth is approached to do a job by a former brother-in-arms, LaPierre, who is now employed by Reich, an eco-profiteer, in order to save his father and a few other survivors, Garth agrees. He and a small group of mercenaries are to break into the near impenetrable Vincent estate and retrieve priceless works of art that are stored there before the apocalypse. But there is a deadly computer-controlled defense system called Encrypt. They must circumvent, along with the killer robot called the Rook and the human-like holographic security chief Diana, who holds the key to Earth's total destruction, or its complete salvation.
Well, we all know what Shakespeare said. Courage mounteth with occasion.
That's right, Mr. Bird. Now mount your ass over here. Let's go.
This was a terrible, terrible movie. All right.
Hey, guess what?
Hell yes, we did.
That's right. We watched it.
All right.
Here we are.
So last month, in our October episode, you heard that we had to watch the movie Encrypt, which, after doing some research, we discovered was a made-for-TV movie, sci-fi specifically.
Okay, wait, hold up. We didn't have to do some research. We watched the first 5 minutes, and I was like, this is a made-for-sci-fi movie. I mean, you could tell. Like, within the first 5 minutes, you're like, oh, my God.
This is going to be awful, and it held up completely
remember
awful.
Remember when I said that first scene when the guys are ganging up the girls, and I felt like the Ninja Turtles were going to pop out?
Yeah.
Beat some.
Well,
yeah,
and then
that's what it felt like.
Just like the font for the text, everything. All right. So before we get off on a tangent about how bad this movie is, let's give a little bit more about what's the idea behind this movie.
So as our narrator said, there is the Earth. The
Earth. The second cousin to the Earth.
The year is 2068, and the Earth's surface is subject to a cataclysmic upheaval. Much of it transformed into a wasteland of unstoppable storms.
Okay, so we've already got. I know. All right, so we've already got our base, right?
We're gonna break this down.
Okay, so we've got our base world. Basically, picture the Matrix, like the surface world of the Matrix, where you've got electrical storms going off. There's no ozone layer. The sun never comes out. Blah blah blah. Right. All right.
But no, we never see this. We never see this great backdrop of anything.
No, you don't see a big backdrop or anything. But everything you see at the beginning of the movie is darkness and lightning and rain.
All right. So I'm just gonna cover this. Directed by Oscar L. Costo. He's done like 3 films, and 2 of them were starring Vivian Wu, and Vivian Wu was the only person I really care about in this film. She played the hologram Diana in this film, and believe it or not, she was in Turtles 3.
Which is awesome because the Turtles totally should have been in the beginning of this movie.
Which is funny because I was thinking about Turtles at the very beginning. But
totally.
Anyway. So we are following Army Captain John, played by Grant Show, which, for those of you who watch TV, you might have seen him as such roles as maybe a police officer here or a doctor here or whatever.
Some of the words completely throwaway roles that are completely meaningless in the grand scheme of things.
He's living in California and working at a bar and then acting on the side. Anyway, he's approached by LaPierre.
LaPierre. All right, so basically this main character gets approached by another character, and the idea is he basically gets drafted to go, or asked to go on a mission to go into this giant estate and steal some artwork. Basically as much artwork as he can take out. And
I mean, the idea, they're trying to preserve humans, history by, what is history? Well, history is preserved within art. I mean, because art goes back and, whatever. So, anyway, they go on this mission to find this precious piece of artwork within this this house, or I should say this mansion, and come to find out it is very protected by
the computer system Encrypt,
which happens to be monitored by a hologram named Diana,
played by Vivian Wu.
And so, come to find out, along the way, there's more to this mansion or this plot.
We start to find out that, maybe there's some subplots here, that maybe there's a way to restore the ozone layer and various and sundry other things. And, this team that goes in, we've got our stereotypical, there's the woman who's the powerful warrioress, if that's a word.
Yeah.
If you do, who's gonna do the cooking?
Yep, that would be her.
She wanted to be Michelle Rodriguez, but
yeah,
So
then we've got pretty much. Then we've got the big giant buff
WWE.
Basically, like the big giant buff wrestler whose name in the movie was King.
Yeah, it was King. Oh, okay.
I'll handle the rook.
You can't.
It's a rook. I'm a king. I'll checkmate its ass.
How many things are wrong with that picture? All right. His name is King.
I'll checkmate his
One
ass.
of the bad guys in the show, or in the movie, is called the Rook. So he says he's going to checkmate him. All right. The King does not checkmate a Rook. It doesn't happen. I'm not very good at chess, but I do know that much. So, anyway.
So come to find out, there's a secret to, there's this, what?
They were like seed pods or something like that could release this stuff into the atmosphere
that
to
could revive the atmosphere.
Revive the ozone layer.
Because the ozone layer is basically gone, so the surface is uninhabitable. But so yeah, I mean the problem I had was here we have this film.
Wait, you say the problem like there's only one.
One of the problems I had with this film was we're going to this film and I'm like, just get to the reason why we're here. Like, why are we waiting 3/4 of the way through this film to find out that, there is a convenient solution to the ozone layer problem?
Well, it's that Deus Ex Machina thing where, there's a convenient resolution at the perfect time. Mm-hmm. But like you said, the first part of the movie is all of this lead up without us actually caring about any of the characters, right? I mean, the movie was half over, and I still could have cared less about the main character. I mean, I don't know if it's the acting, if it's the actors, or what it was, but it just wasn't. I didn't care. I could have cared less.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't care about any of them. And Diana, I think the funny thing was we actually got more story about Diana than I think anything else. Which, granted, I think the director liked her because obviously she ended up in the next film that he did.
Yeah.
But we got more about her story than I think anything else. Which was kind of a cool way to look at it. I mean, you're going into the mind of this hologram who happened to be way more human than she probably.
That was probably the most interesting part of the movie was that this estate was protected by a security system who had a human personality to at least an element of it. And then as the movie progresses, we start to learn, well, how did this security system get this human personality?
Guess what? I'm going to spoil it for you.
No, don't spoil it.
So she ended up going into a cryogenic freeze state. What do you want to call it? Cryostasis. I like combining it because who knows if it was actually cryostasis.
This is a terrible movie. Don't watch it.
Her mind was basically, her body was kept and her mind was thrown into this computer system where she played as, she was,
Picture the Matrix.
Yeah,
basically.
exactly.
Again, going back to
her mind was as a hologram, but her body was stuck in this cryogenic state. Oh, jeez.
I know it's all right. So if you haven't noticed,
so many different ways we can go with this, but yeah.
Okay, so let's tie it back to the dystopian thing, right? It's not so much dystopian as it is post-apocalyptic. I mean, it's dystopian in that, yes, it's as we talked about the definition earlier, it's an undesirable whatever, and there are definitely rich people that we encounter the hero, quote unquote, at the beginning, and he's living in with his group of people basically in poverty. They don't have enough food, they don't have medicine, all this stuff. And then we meet the guy that hires him to go in, and we find out that Reich, this guy that is the one that hires him, lives in this opulent mansion and has all the food and booze and.
I'm going blank. So the place he came from, it reminds me of
Waterworld.
No, Wesley Snipes.
Demolition Man.
Thank you.
Yes, Demolition Man.
I can't believe I was going blank on
Amazing movie.
Yeah.
By the way.
No, I mean, you look at the place where Wesley Snipes was hanging out, or Dennis Leary for that matter. You look at their place that they were living in underground.
Yeah,
It was
picture things like trash can, like flaming trash cans, like seriously, giant metal barrels with trash in them burning for heat, with people with what I picture in that scenario is gloves with the fingers all cut out,
which I kind of wanted to wear tonight. I figured that would.
That's true. You do have a pair of those. Actually, do you? Yeah.
I need to dress up. I need to dress up for this.
Dress up as the characters. Oh, jeez.
Oh, wait a second. We are in this.
I mean,
I'm dressed up like that.
Yeah, you are dressed up like that.
We are living in a shack.
So yeah, I just didn't care about the movie, and then at the end, it finishes with like this trope of the hero is about to die, so he gets his soul sucked out into the machine, and then
How did he get there?
I don't. Well, no.
Did he crawl?
That's true, because so he ends up getting shot far away from the machine that can cryo freeze him, and he somehow gets back to the machine, gets cryo freezed. His brain goes into the same computer as the one that Vivian Wu is in, Diana, and they sit on a porch and watch the sun come up together as the little bugs go up into the atmosphere and create the ozone layer again. It's a terrible, terrible movie. And I am all a fan of terrible movies. Like, the one I always go back to is Van Helsing. I loved Van Helsing. It was an awful, awful movie, but it was good.
Yeah, I mean, you can rip it for all of it.
Yeah, but it had at the very least, it had an interesting story. Mm-hmm. But this movie, I just didn't care about the movie. I think they could have done it in a way that was interesting, but I don't think they did.
Yeah. Yeah, going back to the theme of whether this was dystopian or not. Yeah, it's really tough because the problem I had was so we're here. We find our character John, and he's taking care of his dad.
Oh no, we didn't find him. He forced his way into our brains. Anyway,
we have John. He's taking care of his dad. He's in a underground can burning society, and then we go on this mission. And then so we really don't even focus on.
So that's exactly it.
We really don't get any, this. Like, where are they?
We have no reason to sympathize for this main character.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. He is this, from the moment we meet him, he's a cold, like, emotionless person that you never get a sense of who he is as a person. All you get is this ex-military and
killer.
Yeah, exactly. And that does not make for a very good.
But Wendell, he cared about that little girl with the bread.
Maybe he cared about the bread. I'm just saying.
I wouldn't care about the bread. It's moldy.
If I was hungry enough, I might care. Penicillin. All right. Anyway,
just scrape off the mold. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know what else to say about this movie. I mean, it's okay. So let's talk about the music. All right. Let's just play here for a second a little bit of the music from this movie. Yep.
It was very synthy. Like, yeah. Not in a good way.
And let's just say this is the closing credits and the most interesting part of the soundtrack. And I say soundtrack very loosely because I have no idea who composed it. Why? Because the information is not available anywhere.
You know who it was? The generic composer that they have for other sci-fi films.
Yeah, that's actually probably true because this does. I mean, it was a Sci-Fi Essentials. So on the top of the DVD box, it says Sci-Fi Essentials.
Do you ever see Forgetting Sarah Marshall?
Yes.
You know where he's sitting in the recording room playing the piano.
Oh
for
yeah,
the soundtrack.
Yeah.
That's basically who it was.
Yeah.
It was the guy sitting in the room.
Yeah. That and
playing the synth machine. Yeah.
So, literally, like I looked and I could not. I wasn't able to find who.
I'm actually surprised you found this in order to download it.
Yeah, I know. It took. I looked at numerous places, and I was not about to spend $20 to buy a DVD of this movie off of Amazon. Wow. Yeah. No, I looked everywhere. I could not find who composed the music. Could not find if they had composed anything else. It seemed very, very generic. The movie came out in 2003, so it's not an old movie, but it seemed very generic 90s was what I got. Like a lot of 90s kind of synth and just...
Would you say this?
Now that's some fine art.
Oh, yeah. Oh. Like, let's just say that every trope that abounds with any military team that goes in for a mission is in this movie. I mean, the big beefcake of a wrestler, the woman.
He liked her.
The foreigner.
He liked her.
Right?
Yeah.
A foreigner that doesn't speak, that LaPierre.
Oh.
Right? Like the guy that nobody likes, but he goes there anyway. Oh, the techie.
Was he a foreigner?
Oh, the techie. Well, he was a foreigner because he was
LaPierre.
Yeah. Well, and then
not.
Then you had the techie who the cometh your ass over here or whatever his name is.
Well, we all know what Shakespeare
This
said.
guy.
Courage mounteth with occasion.
That's right, Mr. Bird. Now mount your ass over here. Let's go.
Yeah, stop.
Yeah, Mr.
talking
Bird.
Crap.
Yeah. So his nickname, quote unquote, was the poet.
Just
because
Indiana Jones didn't do it.
He literally, in about 10 minutes, quoted like 7 different famous poets. And it almost got to the point where like every time he opened his mouth, you expected him to come out with some kind of like, all right, yeah. What next one-liner do you have from some poem that could be meaningful to this? Of course, he was the first one to die. I don't care about spoiling this movie at all. And then there was the really weird fist bump between King and the chick, where like they're like, oh, it was right after was it right after the hell yes we did, and then they like the most weak fist bump.
It was like he was agreeing with her, and he was like, hell yeah, or hell yeah, sister, or something like that. Or
yeah, it just
this light,
like everything from the acting to everything in this movie was awful. So. Yes. So anyway, I don't know what else to say about this movie. It's not good. I don't recommend it.
It was tough watching.
But hey, we've committed to watch bad dystopian post-apocalyptic movies as well as the good ones. So
it could have been cool. It could have been cool. Maybe it'd taken a lot of story work.
The armor.
Oh,
the armor
yes,
was
the
this
armor.
weird electronic armor that had a battery pack, but it looked like somebody stuck like hula hoops on the outside of the armor.
The first thing I thought of was Batman Returns and Bane, and the yellow tubes that he had like wrapped around his. Yeah. That's what I thought of, except worse.
And then after their battery pack ran dead, suddenly like they were instantly dead the second that something hit them.
Well, they didn't have the shield, so they got
shot.
Oh,
they didn't have the shield. Oh, but okay. So here's how low budget this movie was.
The battery packs did.
But the thing is this movie was so low budget they couldn't even bother to put in some special effects for the shields. Like you had.
I saw There was one part when
Well, there
they're in
was the
snow,
electricity running up and down them.
You could see that when they got hit, they hit some kind of electrical thing.
Well,
barely.
if it was there, it was bad.
It was very small because it was a very small budget.
All right. I don't know what else to say about this movie.
It was an experience.
It was an experience. That is one way of putting it. So I think we should wash our hands of this movie. And without further ado,
wash our hands of Encrypt.
Without further ado, I think we should move on to
what are we going to watch next?
Exactly.
Wendell.
Which that segment we call the randomizer.
Let's hit the randomizer. The big red button that I have in front of me.
All right. So, out of the movie list that you and I chose, it's movie number 10. So let's take a look at which movie that is.
Oh, is it number 10?
Ooh. All right. Here,
pencil
tell you what.
Wait.
I think I know the actor. Nope, don't
Wait.
look.
I'm not gonna look.
I'm gonna throw the actress
ooh.
at you, and let's see if you can guess the movie.
Actress. Oh, crap.
Charlize Theron.
Aeon Flux.
Very good.
Whoa.
We were watching Eon Flux. For,
yes, we get to
next
look
time.
at.
Actually, have you seen this?
You know what?
This is in your list.
I haven't watched it.
I actually enjoyed this movie. It was.
It's on my list because I hadn't seen it. Right.
It was. Yes.
I think that's why I
assuming.
marked it.
It was a little different. Again, not a fantastic work of art or anything like that, but it was a good movie. It was enjoyable. I know it's Charlize Theron.
Charlize Theron.
So Charlize Theron, what is there not to like? I mean, I'm just saying. Shit. Well, let's see. Ocean's 11. No, not Ocean's 11. The Italian Job. That's what I'm thinking of. The Italian Job. Prometheus.
Yeah.
What other famous movies has she been in? I'm drawing a blank right now.
Oh my god.
But yeah. All right.
So I'm just thinking. Oh, she was in Hancock with Will Smith when he was a superhero.
I don't think I've seen that one.
That's
not dystopian.
That's not a big
in any way. All right. So that's from our list. All right. Now it's time for the other list.
Thank God.
Okay. 114.
Oh wait, here we go.
Oh, randomizing again.
I'm giving you time to look at it.
Well, no, I have to get another random number. All right, so
exactly.
1 to
That's why I hit the
114.
randomizer.
There's 114.
Come on, Wendell.
There are 114 movies in our list of movies that we don't want to watch.
There probably need to be more, actually.
All right. The movie is... Oh, please don't be bad.
Drum roll, please.
Oh, I have no idea what this movie is.
Wait. Oh, you have no idea?
I have absolutely no idea. The movie is...
It doesn't have a symbol.
It's... I was waiting for the symbol. It is called Punishment Park. I'm going to look this up really quick.
I think I've actually heard of this.
Punishment Park is...
I think I've actually heard of this one.
Oh, no, it's a pseudo-documentary.
Oh, crap.
Oh. All right. Punishment Park is a pseudo-documentary purporting to be a film crew's news coverage of the team of soldiers escorting a group of hippies. And then I have to click the see full summary button.
Ooh. Oh, I think this was mentioned.
Escorting a group of hippies, draft dodgers, and anti-establishment types across the desert in a type of capture the flag game. The soldiers vow not to interfere with the rebels' progress and merely shepherd them along to their destination.
Say what?
All right. It used the word game.
Huh.
A lot of this film appears improvised, and in several scenes, real tempers seem to flare as some of the quote-unquote acting got over-aggressive. Well, this might be interesting. Why is this a dystopian movie?
Because it depicts a world.
Oh,
that's
okay.
not desirable.
Okay. So at the end of this synopsis on IMDb, it does say, unfortunately, this film has gone completely underground and is next to impossible to find. It would offer a captivating document of the distrust that exists between soldiers willfully serving in the military and those persons who oppose the war peacefully.
So
what war are they talking about?
If we can, I don't know if Scarecrow Video has it, but then I can actually rent it from there.
Well, I'll see. I may be able to.
So what
find
if
it.
you can't find it, Wendell?
If I can't find it, are we going to do a second movie?
Are we
going to have a backup just in case? All right.
Are we going to wait?
The movie
wait,
number is 64. I think we reveal it.
Should we announce it?
We announce it. But then if we can find that one, then that movie goes out the window and we redo it next time. Okay. All right. So if I cannot find that one.
Oh, God. It better not be a movie I want to watch.
Ooh. Planet Earth. 1974.
What?
Planet Earth,
huh?
Yeah.
You know what? I do not know that film.
Can we just skip over Punishment Park and watch Planet Earth? Planet Earth. Don't just search for Planet Earth because it comes up with way too much stuff on Google.
How about Planet Earth Yoga?
Planet Earth 1974. Let's see. 1974. Mark Daniels. That name sounds familiar. A man awakens from suspended animation and finds himself in the 22nd century where he finds that women rule the world and that men are slaves called dinks. That sounds really strange.
Dinks.
But okay. All right, so that's our backup movie. If I cannot find Punishment Park, we will watch Planet Earth. If we do find Punishment Park, then Planet Earth will go back into the pool to be randomly selected at a later time.
Yes. That's true. Oh my gosh.
Ugh.
Well, at least we get Aeon and Flux.
That's true. At least we get one, at least maybe not good movie, but
I mean, yeah,
it's not. Yeah, again, it's not a fantastic movie, but at least it's interesting and somewhat decent. All right, so I think that's gonna about do it for this episode. Let's see if the folks at home, you guys, want to get a hold of us, assuming that our email addresses still work in this world. You can get a hold of us at feedback@dystopicradio.com. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, iTunes. You can call and leave us a voicemail at 206-414-9309. You can find Niles at dystopicradio.com. You can find me at Wendell@dystopicradio.com.
Very easy for you.
Very easy. If you can't remember any of that stuff, just go to dystopicradio.com, and all of the information for both Niles, myself, the full website, Facebook, all that kind of stuff is all available on the contact page there.
And just a friendly reminder, it's basically a monthly. We're basically coming out. So this is our November.
Yes,
podcast.
This is our November episode. So we did the first one in September, second one in October. This is our third episode in November. So be looking for the fourth episode, the December edition, to be hitting sometime in December.
Which will be coming up on the end of the world.
Exactly. So
December 21st.
Just in case, be sure and tune your radios into dystopicradio.com on the 22nd to see if we're still around.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, 22nd?
Yeah. Well,
22nd. Because the world's in theory
21st.
ending on the 21st, right?
I love that we have a specific day.
I know.
Is there a specific time, too, maybe?
I love the Mayans and their specificity on their calendar. It's great to know when we cease to exist. All right. So without further ado, thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed this episode. If you have any feedback, please feel free to contact us. I'm your survivor, Wendell, and this is my co-host, Niles.
I'm Niles.
And
if you are still out there and you are still listening, and if you are the last man on Earth, remember, raid all the alcohol cabinets and keep yourself entertained.
And we will see you guys on the other side.
Now mount with your ass over here, let's go.